Hello, I'm Sam Crow. Welcome to this edition of Feather Talk, our bi-weekly program focused on backyard birds. We'll open this week's program with a note about birds and the bears. This story is about 6 weeks old, but in the current political climate, I still find it somewhat satisfying. In mid-April, Vermont Governor Peter Shumlin discovered 4 black bears dining on the bird feeders in the backyard of his Montpelier home. After repeated attempts to scare the birds away, one charged the governor, who made a timely retreat to his home, about 3 feet in front of the charging bear. The political affiliation of the bear is not known at this time. Duncraft recently released 3 new models of its popular effortless bird feeding system. The feeders are pole-mounted with built-in squirrel guard. One model includes cups on the side for feeding mealworms, soot, or alternate seed options. You can visit Birdzilla.com for more information on the effortless bird feeding systems. Yankees has recently updated their line of quality products to include microban antimicrobial protection. Microban technology can be found in many leading household products. The silver glass technology is infused into the tubes of the Yankee feeders. The company claims the microban enhanced feeders protect them from the growth of damaging bacteria, mold, and mildew. Yankees makes 21 feeders with microban protection, including finch feeders, songbird feeders, and their Yankee family of squirrel-proof feeders. Visit Birdzilla.com for additional information. This week's featured bird is the rose-breasted grosbeak. The rose-breasted grosbeak is a chunky bird, smaller than an American robin, with a very thick bill and white patches in the wings. The male rose-breasted grosbeak is stunningly patterned in red, black, and white, and is a fairly common spring migrant and breeder across parts of eastern North America. Males have blackish heads, backs, and wings, with a triangular rose-red patch on the breast. The rump and belly are white. While adult males cannot be confused with other species, they are one of the most asked about birds on our Birdzilla.com website. First-year males do not have the black head and the triangular rose-colored throat patch. They have fine streaking underneath as well as rusty wash on the chest and sides. They look very similar to this female rose-breasted grosbeak. Female rose-breasted grosbeaks, in typical songbird fashion, are more subdued in coloration than the males. Females are largely whitish below with obvious brown streaking, and are brownish above with a whitish eyeline and pale bill. Male rose-breasted grosbeaks help with incubation during the day, although females do most of the daytime incubating and all the nighttime incubation. The western counterpart of the rose-breasted grosbeak is the black-headed grosbeak. While the males of the 2 species are distinctive, the female black-headed grosbeak, shown here, is very similar to the rose-breasted, and the 2 are very difficult to tell apart. There is some limited range overlap in the central United States. We're visiting today with Ray David. Ray is a good friend of mine and publisher of Birding Business magazine. Ray, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sam.
Ray, I guess congratulations are in order. You recently had a big event in your life.
I did indeed. 3 weeks ago, I got married.
You got married. Well, that's terrific.
Yep.
How did you find somebody to put up with you?
It cost me a lot of money, but it was worth it.
It might be worth it. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about Birding Business magazine.
Well, Birding Business is a trade magazine, business to business. It is not for the consumer. It is directed to retail stores that sell wild bird products. And the focus of the stories is how to run a better store, how to deal with the consumer selling wild bird products. And the readership is 16,000 roughly. That's addresses, closer to probably 30,000 people reading it. And these are all retailers, store managers, assistant managers, store personnel, buyers, that sort of thing.
That's a pretty good reach. How long has the magazine been published?
Well, it started in 1995 as a 4-page a black and white newsletter. In 2000, it became a full-color magazine, and it went from 4 pages to about 64 pages.
Super. Very successful.
Yes.
All right. Even though it's a business-to-business magazine, I bet you know a little bit about feeding birds in the backyard.
Well, I do.
All right. We got a couple of questions for you. Okay. A lot of people slow down or stop feeding birds in the summer. Do you have some tips for folks who might want to continue to attract birds to the backyard through June, July, and August?
Well, yeah. In my view, wild birds nest in the spring and summer. And during nesting season, they expend a lot of extra energy building nests and going out and catching food, insects and whatnot, to feed their young. And so they're using a lot more energy during nesting season than they would throughout the rest of the year. And so as far as I'm concerned, it is incumbent on the backyard birder to continue feeding through the spring and summer, because those are the months the birds are most needful, I think, for good food and nutrition. And of course, I guess in the autumn is when nuts and seeds become mature and plentiful. But then come winter, the food for birds is more scarce, and they need to continue to be fed throughout the winter and spring.
Okay. Should I change the type of food I offer in the summer months compared to fall and winter, or add more water, or what are some things I should be doing in the summer?
Well, in the summer, keep in mind that most birds, at least feeder birds, will also feed their young insects. But bird food or seed is still a critical part of the diet. And you can add mealworms, for example, to the diet during the summer months, or all year round, doesn't matter. My own personal preference is to feed shelled sunflower. And what that does, it's more expensive, of course, but it doesn't have any fillers in it. It is straight bird seed with no shells, so there's no mess left over. So anything that gets spilled on the ground gets taken up by other birds or squirrels or whatever. So there's no mess left over.
Okay. A couple of questions for you that we receive every time this time of year. I found a baby bird on the ground. What should I do?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because none of us really know how old that baby bird is, whether it has fallen out of the nest by mistake, or is it at the point of fledging and has exercised its wings the first time and hasn't quite got flight worked out yet. So if the nest is nearby, and you think that the bird is uninjured, it's okay to pick it up and put it back in the nest. But keep in mind that if it is injured, it may need professional help to get it right again. But it's difficult to tell. But in any case, you can put it back in the nest, or you can leave it. It will fend for itself.
Now, the first choice, I'd think, if you can, is to put it back in the nest and let the adults take care of it if that's a possibility, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the adults generally aren't very far away. Right. And they will come in and do what they can. And like I say, if the bird is fledging, then it may have flown out of the nest.
Right.
It hasn't quite figured out how to get back up off the ground, but it won't take very long to do that.
Okay. One other quick question. Yeah. There's a sharp-shinned hawk hanging around my bird feeder. What am I going to do about that?
That depends on your opinion.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, hawks are birds too, and I don't want to be feeding them other songbirds, but they certainly are not going to eat bird food, but they fly around because songbirds are part of their diet. And songbirds hang around bird feeders. Hawks hang around bird feeders because that's where their food is too.
Mm-hmm.
Something that a lot of people haven't understood is that hawks feed their young nestlings from feeder birds that where they have found the nest because it's near the bird feeders. And they go in and take one of the nestlings and take it back to their own nest to feed the young. Come back to that songbird nest again and take another one of the nestlings and take that back and feed it to their young. It's part of nature. It's not something we like to see, but it's going to happen. And you can try and frighten them away, but whatever you do, that might frighten away the songbirds too. So it depends on your own point of view, but that's mine.
Okay. All right. Let's have a more positive note. What's the last bird you've seen at your bird feeder?
Oh, gosh. I guess tufted titmouse this morning.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a lot of them around here, but we do get, actually, during migrating season, we get a few warblers. I've had robins at the feeder. Bluebirds are a common visitor at the feeder because we use shelled sunflowers. So robins and bluebirds and warblers don't have the beak to crack open seed shells. But with the seed meat itself, there's no shell to crack open.
Right.
So even those birds are able to eat that seed. So we get quite a nice variety of birds at our feeder.
All right, Ray. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and good luck with Birding Business Magazine.
Sure. Thank you very much, Sam.
All right.
Nice talking.
You have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
For those of you who enjoy hummingbirds, and who doesn't, Birdzilla recently released the Hummingbird HD app. The app includes images and profiles of 16 species of hummingbirds, plus information on gardening for hummingbirds, as well as links to our Hummingbird Pro Shop where you can purchase a range of quality hummingbird feeders. The app also features beautiful images of over 100 different species of hummingbirds from Central and South America. At this time, the app is only compatible with the Apple iPad.
Wingtips.
Welcome to Wingtips. The hairy and downy woodpeckers are black and white with a red dot on the back of the head of the males. They look so much alike, how are we going to know which is which? Here are some tips. We could study the sizes of the birds, but be careful with size as an identification tool because it can be deceiving unless another bird or object of known size is nearby. That said, the hairy woodpecker is heavier than the downy and about 2.5 inches longer. The easiest identification mark for most birders is the bill. The bill of the hairy woodpecker is heavier and longer than the downy's. The bill of the hairy woodpecker is often described as being as long as the bird's head is wide. The bill of the downy woodpecker is much shorter than the width of the bird's head. The smaller and lighter downy woodpecker is often seen foraging on seed stalks, something you'll seldom see hairy woodpeckers doing. More complete identification information is available in the Birdzilla.com email newsletter from December 2003, available online at Birdzilla.com. Wingtips is brought to you today by the Sam's Guide to Enjoying Backyard Birds. This CD-ROM is full of information on feeding and attracting birds. It includes species profiles for about 50 backyard birds, including video clips of the birds in action. For more information on this fascinating CD-ROM, visit samsbirds.com. That's samsbirds.com. That's our wingtip for today.